the thing, I think. Pretty sure we're doing the thing. The thing meaning streaming. Let's check. Let's double check. Let's check the Mixer app and make sure that I am in fact streaming to mixer.com/Joe on the Stick right now. But I think I am. I am. Look at that. You are live. I can watch myself. Is the audio coming through? The audio's coming through. Check it out. Okay. So, what are we doing? We're just going to watch the chat because it's a big drain on my battery to do anything else. I'm Joe. Welcome to the On the Stick Weekly Wednesday night stream. I am alone right now. Well, not totally alone. I got this weirdo with me. But I'm alone for human companionship. That's fine. Like the last chat that I'm seeing... Actually, I'm going to turn the video back on for a second. Just to make sure that if I sit back a little bit, I'm not totally invisible. I don't think I am. Yeah, I think I'm good. Good. Okay. The chats on Mixer are contiguous, so I see the last thing on there is from QC Retro, and that was from my chat with Smoke Monster, and since now I have talked to QC Retro, and I have committed to purchasing one of the new miniguns, the 2.1 minigun, and he says that should be ready in mid-September, so look forward to some hot arcade gaming action. There's a box right there with an arcade board in it. And that's the thing we're going to do once I have that. So what are we doing tonight? I didn't change the name of the stream or anything, did I? Sure didn't. Can we do that? Can I do that from here? Can I do that from the... No, I can't. Oh well. So be it. I don't think there's a lot of people just like sifting through the... I think it's such a web show, although it says Smoke Monster, which I'm not. Smoke Monster's not here, but whatever. Anyways. But this is Smoke Monster related because Smoke Monster's GitHub is the one that houses the jailbreaks for the Super NT. And the most recent jailbreak, and the reason that I'm doing this, is Mike recently got a Super NT, but he's not set up to stream consoles. He can only stream from his computer. So he's going to be along later, supposedly, in about 10 or 20 minutes, I guess. And I thought I'd bust out my Super NT and play with the jailbreak a little bit, and then when Mike comes on, we can talk about what he's been doing with his Super NT and how he's been enjoying it. I think we talked about that a little bit last week, but this is a good opportunity to discuss it a little further. So we're going to browse the SD card. This is the jailbreak warning that you get by default. If you save your game, you have to press down and select to go back to the menu. If you power off without doing that, your save game will be erased. And a lot of flashcards are like that too. You have to reset them. You have to hit the reset button on the console or it won't save. So thank you for that. So the reason this is cool, now if you've been following me for a while, you know that I have a Super EverDrive, and I have for a while, but the most recent jailbreak uses the FPGA in the Super NT to simulate some of the special chip games, which the vanilla Super EverDrive cannot do. Which is why I'm now selling my Super EverDrive. But I still have it as of right now. But games like... There's actually a whole folder for super special chip games. Games like Mega Man X2, which I do have an official copy of over on the shelf. You know, if you're a cop, which I hope you're not, but if you're a cop about it, I do have an actual copy of Mega Man X2 on the shelf. I have a copy of the Mega Man X collection for PlayStation 2 on that shelf. And then I have a copy of the Mega Man X Legacy collection for the PS4 on the shelf next to that. So stay off my case about booting up the ROM on my Super NT. If that was the thing you were even thinking about doing, just don't. Because I have purchased the game 3 times over. And I don't need your shit. Anyways, so yeah, so it's not every special chip. Super FX and Super FX2, which are sort of, you know, the ones that everybody kind of thinks of, those are not supported. You know, so if that's kind of where your head's at, you know, that's not what we're doing. But somewhat infamously, there was some issues with the emulation even on the PS2 collection. The PS4, Xbox One, Switch versions don't have that problem. But the PS2 version, GameCube and original Xbox versions, I think it came out for all 3, the X collection. These X2 doesn't play quite right. And X3 is the PlayStation version. Because it was easier to emulate than the Super NES version. And all the previous collections, or I guess the one previous collection, until the recent one, was, it used, the PlayStation version. But now the PS4, Xbox One, Switch version uses the actual Super Nintendo version of Mega Man X3. Mega Man X3 is not that good anyway, so... Sounds like somebody's here now. Besides me.
Somebody's here now.
Hey, it's Kurt.
It's me.
Live from New York. It's Wednesday night.
That's right. It is Wednesday.
It is. So, I'm, as you can probably see here, Kurt, I'm playing Mega Man X2 on my Super NT.
See that. Why am I having walking issues?
Did you say why are you having walking issues?
Wonky.
Neither Mike nor Eric is here yet, so...
I see that.
Yeah, I feel like you put that together, but...
And now Eric is here.
And now Eric is here.
As soon as we said it.
Hi, Eric.
Not be ready to talk yet. See some skepticism.
Sure.
Or he may be trying to talk and we can't hear him, which is also
something that happens, yes.
That's better. Now I have some more.
Now you have a s'more, did you say?
Now I have some water.
Yeah.
Parched. I'm no longer parched.
Yeah, you should stay hydrated. It's important.
Yeah, hydrating.
did it. I killed the big robot.
Good job.
Thanks. The big robot.
I feel like I'm not getting everything from you.
You're not getting everything from me.
I think it's
Like,
a problem.
You're not hearing everything I say? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
I have been pausing at some. I mean, you could turn on the stream audio and see how much of an echo you get.
Oh, that'll also be a funky lag.
Yeah, it's true. We won't make the same mistake.
I suspect it's just shit internet at the hotel.
That's possible. It's been a while since I've played Mega Man X2, I feel like.
I have never played Mega Man X2.
I know, you hadn't played Mega Man X until I gave it to you for our Christmas exchange.
That's
years ago.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Have you played Mega Man X4?
Only X that I have played is Mega Man X1.
Boy, I have vague memories of the order here, but I cannot remember.
What's going on?
I can't remember the Mega Man X2 boss order, or who to start with, I guess. Is really...
Well, I mean, your first mistake is playing Mega Man X2.
But
Could be worse. It could be playing Mega Man X3 or Mega Man X5 or Mega Man X6 or Mega Man X7.
They're mostly fine.
I mean, they're fine. I'm playing, I'm using the Super NT Jailbreak, so I want to illustrate that this game works on the Super NT Jailbreak. I had to help Mike troubleshoot a little bit, in fact, because he couldn't get Mega Man X2 and 3 to work on his Super NT. And I had to give him a little assistance. First, we thought it was a bad ROM. Well, I mean, maybe I should wait for Mike to get here to tell the story. Because he is coming, supposedly. I'm told. So how you doing, Eric? How's your week so far?
I don't know. Okay, I guess. How about you?
Not bad. Not bad. Still adjusting to the earlier mornings of the new job, but other than that, everything's good.
What's going on in New York, Kurt?
Not a lot at the moment. And it has been just wall-to-wall meetings and people talking to me and so on, so I'm fairly tired. Yeah. It's yeah.
My advice is not to talk to anybody.
That's my preference generally.
Well, Eric,
But-
not all of us have the kind of job that you do where we can go pretty much all day without talking to anybody. There was a time. But not anymore. Found an E-tank.
Good shit.
E-tank, F-tank, whatever it takes.
I like how these robots just have a flathead screwdriver in their face.
Poor face, yeah. I presume they're to help build other robots, but
I wonder if they have different size ones that they can switch to. They just use the biggest, pointiest one to try and
kill Mega Man. Yeah.
And now here's Mike.
I feel like
What's
it's
up, fellas?
especially cruel of whatever evil force might be behind this to some of those guys after Mega Man.
I have no idea who it could possibly be. Who's behind
We got him,
all this.
boss. Oh yeah, we'll just unscrew him, I guess. Unscrew his legs. Is that what you want us to
Yeah,
do?
that's what they're sent out to do. They're gonna take Mega Man apart, the old-fashioned way. They're just gonna
Literally, they're going to take him apart.
they're literally going to disassemble him, screw by screw.
What am I missing right now?
The weird screw-faced hopping enemies and wire sponges stage.
Where is this happening? I don't see it on the
Mixer.com/Joe on the stick.
Ah.
But whoever has control of the On the Stick channel could host me on it for tonight, and then it would be happening there as well. Which I've been trying to get better about trying to do that, but it's not like Twitch has a thing where you can just say like, if this person's live and I'm not, show their feed, but like Mixer doesn't seem to have that, or if it does, I haven't been able to find it. Mixer's UI also kind of sucks.
Okay, so I just finished this game like yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
On the Super NT.
Yeah, that's what I'm planning on. So
Yeah,
how's your Super NT experience been, Mike? After I troubleshooted you.
Well, this particular game is slow as hell. I don't know if you've gotten to. Have you fought Crystal Snail yet?
No, this is my first Maverick.
Okay, well, look forward to that because I think there's some quirks in the emulation of this particular game that they have not figured out yet. I think
I'm gonna guess it's due to the way that it's the jailbreak is like the FPGA is handling the chip. The CX4.
It has to do with the special chip, which, from what I understand, they kind of got it right for X3, but it's not the same implementation for X2 or something like that. But I played a little bit of X3 after that, and it was very fast and smooth. But yeah, this game really chugs whenever any of the wireframey 3D stuff is happening.
Right. Yeah,
I have all the time.
I have a cart copy of it, so I could compare theoretically.
You should. What am I hearing? Someone's playing music.
Yeah, I think Eric's playing something else. I'm not sure what though.
That's not for me.
No, that's not for you. Then I'm
Does it
playing
stop?
Kurt, I guess.
Yes, it seems to have stopped.
There was a momentary Hollow Knight bleeper.
Oh, how far are you in Hollow Knight?
I have one sleeper left. Fuck the fuck the Watcher Knights.
That's a good fight. Good, making you mad.
I was gonna say it depends on how you define good.
Which ones are the Watcher Knights?
Before it's up at the top of the tower, you have to fight like 5 or 6 of the same enemy.
Right.
Do you know the trick for that, Kurt?
They roll and spin and so on. Do I know the trick about like removing one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do know that. That is a good trick in that less is better, but one less is not good enough for me.
Do you know the other trick, which is get good?
Yes, I do know that trick. I cannot execute that trick very well. So that's not, therein lies my problem.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you got it'd be a good place to do like a spell build if you can get you have anything that makes your projectile spell more powerful.
Yeah. My big problem is just that is just dealing with 2 of them at the same time, and so they start to like split up and double team me in ways that makes it hard to get around. I'm familiar with the problems. Yeah, and so I've gotten to the point where I've knocked down I have beaten this fight once before, but it has been a long while since I played it, and so I've gotten, in this current iteration, I've gotten like 3 of them down, but that's as far as I've gotten.
I cannot for the life of me think. I'm gonna have to look this up because I cannot think of the fight you're talking about.
So you end up in a giant room with a chandelier, and there are a bunch of round husks on the ground, and they get filled with like fireflies or whatever you want to call them, those sporty things, and spawn
big round boys,
these big round dudes that will swipe at you with a giant sword or turn into a
Sonic spin dash at you.
Yeah. Right, that, and then also bounce.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yep.
And so you end up having to fight 2 of them at a time, and
Yeah, I
It's a
feel
shit
like
show.
bouncing on their when they're in a circle, like bouncing on top of them was one of the operative strategies that I employed.
I mean,
Well, what's
that-
tricky is that sometimes they bounce high, and then if you're on top of them, you're going to get hit. They'll go
Yeah.
jump up into you.
right.
So dealing with one who's on the ground and one who's bouncing up and down is where it really gets tricky.
Yep,
You said
that's
Crystal
exactly it.
Snail is the one that slows down a lot, Mike, in your experience.
Especially, well, the boss fight in particular is kind of excruciating.
Let's see if we can get that to, if I can duplicate that, and then I can maybe check it out on the actual cartridge, just to illustrate that it is not the Super NT itself, but it is the Jailbreak special chip
Are you very familiar with this game?
No, I was just telling Kurt, it's been a really long time since I've played. I think the last time I played through this game was when I got the X collection for PS2. Is the last time I actually played through X2.
Yeah.
I played through X4 just a few, like maybe 9 months ago, like back in December-ish, I want to say. I played through X4, but any X that isn't 1 or 4 I have not played in
a while.
quite some time.
Yeah. My kind of impression that I've had from replaying this one is just kind of like workmanlike. It's like it's functional, it's fine. I think 3 is kind of bad, but I haven't played enough of it recently on the Super NT to confirm that again. But I remember being really unimpressed with 3 last time I played it. Although I was playing the Anniversary Collection version, which has the terrible Saturn soundtrack. Not that the Super Nintendo soundtrack is great, but
I mean, it's probably better though, right?
it's less annoying, but it's not very good. I did not manage to get my ride armor all the way up here. And there's all this
Have you
stuff
tried getting
taunting
good?
me. Maybe it didn't spawn for some reason. I wanted that free guy.
Yeah, well, get good. So how? I mean, I think we talked about it a little bit last week, but how?
If you were good, you wouldn't need the extra life.
Well, I finished the game, so I mean,
Yeah, that's what I mean. You'd be fine. Sorry, Joe. What were you saying?
No, I was just gonna ask Mike how is your continuing Super NT experience?
Yeah,
with
it's
Jailbreak
great.
and everything.
super solid. I mean, you know, I played a bunch of different games. I was playing some Super Punch Out. I made it to the last guy in Super Punch Out, but I've never beaten him without using save states, and I didn't
Is that
change
Nick
that.
Bruiser or Rick Bruiser?
I think it's Nick, the second one. Yeah, that first Bruiser guy is really not that big of a deal, but the second one's pretty tricky. Still seems way more doable than, like, you know, Mike Tyson, but
I've definitely had better luck against Tyson than against the Bruiser twins.
really.
But I've also played a lot more
Original Punch Out.
Mike Tyson's Punch Out than
Right. Yeah, I mean, the first of the Bruiser twins is really no big deal. Yeah, you gotta use all those little ledges to buy yourself time to get over to the ladder.
right.
Yeah, what else? You know, Metroid Zelda Randomizer, all of Mega Man X2 recently, a little bit of Mega Man and Bass with the translation patch applied.
Are you playing as bass? Because it's
I
not a
am.
very good game if you're not playing as bass.
Agreed. I kind of feel that way about Mega Man X4 also.
If you're not playing as Zero, it's not very good.
Yeah,
You know, playing as Zero is a ton of fun.
I agree, but my boy won't let me do it because it's not Mega Man.
Yeah,
Continue
I
to
don't. I
have the
mean,
talk.
yeah, I don't think playing as Mega Man makes it a bad game, but I do think it's a more interesting and more fun game playing as Zero.
All right, I'll be curious to see if this is as
It's
kind of painful.
It's pretty sluggish. I don't know how. I know this is low latency streaming, so you shouldn't be very far behind. But like,
Yeah.
this is pretty. It's pretty.
Yeah, you gotta wait a super long time just for the fight to start, and everything he does that involves spinning around is gonna take forever.
Is my wire sponge thing? I don't remember the weaknesses at all in this game. So, oh yeah, wow.
The best part is that he has an attack that puts everything to slow motion. Is he weak to wire? Chain strike, whatever that thing's called?
Doesn't look like it. I mean, maybe he took a pretty fair amount of damage on that, but he didn't like.
He didn't animate.
Isn't there a thing that knocks his shell off, or is that just in the first one?
There is. No, is it? I think it might be the mine. I don't. I played this game 2 days ago and I still don't remember.
Okay, well.
Yeah, so try that out on your cartridge copy and
let's
see what happens.
Give me 1 second while I meander away. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go to the shelf.
So hey, what's new, Eric?
Not much. Nothing around Overwatch.
You think that might be coming to Switch at some point?
I heard that. I don't. That seems like a really terrible way to play this game, but
Yeah, a lot of people just happy to have a way to play it.
yeah, no. I mean, I don't have a problem.
My copy of
with it.
Mega Man X2 is
Not
filthy.
interested.
I need to clean that.
Especially in handheld mode with those fucking awful analog sticks.
Yeah. I was playing the original Doom on the Switch recently, and that is not a game that is fun to play using those crappy thumbsticks. I think it's the first... Well, I mean, there was Splatoon 2, which I also did not enjoy playing very much, so maybe the thumbsticks are partially to blame for that.
Yeah. It seems, Also, the just really poorly designed, like, multiplayer stuff in that game.
In Splatoon, yes. The fact,
Yeah.
If I could have reliably played with people I wanted to play with, I think I would have given that game at least twice as much time as I did. But yeah, it was just kind of insulting, so I kind of didn't stick with it. So Joe, is X2 one of those games that's stupidly expensive on eBay now?
Yes. I talked to Smoke Monster a little bit about this last week when he and I had our chat, and I don't remember if I talked to you guys about it or not, but I'm getting to the point where I'm thinking about divesting a decent portion of my collection.
You did mention that.
Yeah, I'm really wanting to go quality over quantity, and there are certain games. This one isn't one of them because this is actually a game that technically belongs to my cousins. Like they kept all their games, but they don't play any of them. And so then, like, when my great aunt was going through their basement, my youngest cousin Kevin was like, "Oh, like my mom found all our old video games, and like I know you collect games. Like, do you want them?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." So any of the games that I know are theirs, like I'm not going to get rid of just in case. I mean, I'm the custodian of them. I don't know that I would say I'm the owner of them. So. I'm not gonna. I would. This is one I definitely. If it was like 100% mine, I would sell this game in a second because it is not.
Was it this one or 3 that I sold not that long ago?
I thought it was 2.
It was like $140 or something.
Yeah, it was one of them.
2 and 3 are both worth a lot.
2 and 3 are both worth a lot. But like my Genesis copy of the
sold.
My Genesis copy of the Punisher.
Maybe. I really don't like 3 very much, and 2 is kind of okay. So.
I want to say I thought you really got the good end of that deal because you sold X3 for a bunch of money. Of course, it'll probably be worth even more in 5 years. But what are you gonna do?
I mean, it may not. You never know. But a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. You know. But yeah, like my Genesis copy of the Punisher, that game is stupidly expensive. That's gonna go. My Super EverDrive is gonna go. I'm thinking about, I don't know what I'm going to do about my PC Engine for sure, but I'm giving some pretty serious thought to selling my PC Engine Duo and getting a Core Graphics and the Super System SD3, which emulates the disk drive. So like right now I have an EverDrive, but that means I can only play card games. I can't play CD games without either burning a copy or having the CD, and there are people who like burn discs and screw up your CD drive, this, that, and the other. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't made a decision on that, but that's a thought that I was having as well, because I can sell the Duo for a pretty decent chunk of change and replace it for not a whole lot. we'll see where that all goes. But this is definitely a game that, if it were mine, it'd be out the door. But it's not, strictly speaking, mine. But I have a handful of games that I'm definitely like, yep, these are worth some money, and I'm gonna get rid of them because they're not good, and they're worth money that I could then use to buy games that either are good or are at the very least interesting.
I don't think I have. I don't think I have a lot of games that are valuable that I'm not interested in.
See, well, a lot of mine, I feel like I've talked about this a million times at this point, but like a lot of mine, I got them when they were cheap, and now they're not cheap. But like Punisher for Genesis, for example, like I paid $5, $7 for that, and it's worth, like, card only, it's worth like 80 or 90. You know, if I had the box, I'd probably get more than 100 for it, and it's just like, I mean, it's not good, it's a bad port, and I already made a video on it. The likelihood that I ever want to, like, throw that game in just to play the Genesis port again is slim, and if I do decide that, I have the Genesis EverDrive, so I can do it that way. You know, so it's like a lot of it I want to keep stuff that won't play on an EverDrive. You know, which in the case of the Genesis, that's easy. It's Virtua Racing, and I have it, so... Because that's the only Genesis game that had an add-on chip. Super Nintendo used a lot of add-on chips and different stuff. Genesis only had one game that used an add-on chip, and it's Virtua Racing, so... I can play every single other Genesis game in the library on my EverDrive, so... Which doesn't mean I'm going to sell all my Genesis games, because some of them I think are cool and interesting, and... Like, I'm never going to sell my Splatterhouse 2, even though it is worth way more than when I bought it. But I just think it's a cool game, and I like it, so I'm going to keep it. But there's some stuff that I'm just like... You know, Mega Turrican is worth a few bucks. That can go. Punisher can go. You know, stuff like that. There's a million NES games. Even stuff that's only worth 10 or 20 bucks. You know, if I sell enough of those, that's enough money to get more arcade boards, or... put money towards, you know, a Neo Geo flash cart, which is on the shopping list right now, you know, so yeah, we'll see how that all goes. But yeah, as I was saying when I was still by myself before you guys all showed up, that QC Retro is like the last chat on from last week when I was talking to Smoke Monster, and I actually messaged him, and he's going to set me up with a super gun mid-September, it sounds like, is when that's going to happen, so pretty excited about that. And then I think I'm going to grab you can get a one-slot Neo Geo board you know, on eBay or AliExpress for like $40, and it just
nice.
Yeah. They come from China. There were apparently a million one-slot MVSs in arcades all over China, just for the longest time, and so now they're just so dirt common that you can get MV1B or 1C board for, I mean, yeah, like $30 to $40. You know, if you
What
want,
are you gonna hook this thing up to?
Can you rephrase the question? I'm not sure. I mean, my television. I mean, my FrameMeister.
Your HD TV.
Yeah, it's gonna go through my FrameMeister. And then I'm gonna use a SCART cable to put it out to my FrameMeister, which then there's not a Firebrand X profile for arcade stuff, but apparently on some of like the Arcade Projects forums and stuff, some people have dummied up some pretty good profiles for the FrameMeister for arcade stuff. So. Yeah, it's gonna go SCART out. Use apparently an NES RGB cable, like that's used for when people get the NES RGB mod done. Same cable, and you can just, because the good super guns. Anybody who's watching has no idea what I'm talking about. There's a 3-hour conversation I had with Smoke Monster last Thursday that's up on the YouTube channel that you can watch. Where we go into depth about all this stuff, but the trustworthy super guns, they all attenuate the audio and video signals, so it can go into my G-SCART switch and then into my FrameMeister and not like blow up my equipment. So older, worse super guns have had problems. So it seems like he still slows things down a little bit, but way less dramatically than was happening when I was running this game off the SD card than now that I'm
Yeah, I
running it
was
off the
wondering as I
Jailbreak
was
card.
playing it, like some part of this is maybe just natural Super Nintendo slowdown, but it does show up pretty badly every time the wireframe effect is on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, there's still some slowdown here,
Yeah.
but
The question is that Super NT slowdown or is that Super Nintendo slowdown?
I mean,
Probably Super-
I can hook up a Super Nintendo if we want to get that into this. And
I mean, I guess presumably it's the Super Nintendo.
I'm gonna guess the Super Nintendo real hardware slows down just as much, but this is still less than it was doing from the SD card. I feel. I mean, I'd have to back up the video and compare them, but
When you
this
get him down to
feels-
low health, he does a special attack that slows down time. It is absurd.
yeah.
It's like 2 frames a second.
Yeah, I mean, the Super Nintendo was definitely prone to slow down, more so than, say, the Genesis or the PC Engine. You know, but this, I mean, again, it's hard to say, but I mean, it was 5 minutes ago that I was playing it off the SD card, and it felt worse. It felt more dramatic to me. You guys are watching. I mean, I don't know what you think.
It was really dramatic to me playing it from the SD card.
The question is,
This time
I
with the fight's
wonder
really easy.
which of the emulated versions have the proper slowdown, and which of them... Which I'm sort of two minds on that, I guess. Like, you know, whether if a game slowed down on original hardware, when you emulate it, should it also slow down, or...
I like to have the option. Like, if you can turn it off, great. But I'd like to have the option to do
preserve
what
it.
it was doing before.
Yeah. Like, the PlayStation version of Super Ghouls and Ghosts... they programmed in the Super NES slowdown. So even though they could have not had the game slow down, they kept it, you know, genuine to the original hardware version. But then there's stuff like, you know, Vitor Villela did that SA1 hack for Gradius 3, which I want to check out, even though, you know, it did slow down originally, but the idea that he made it work with an add-on chip and so it won't slow down is pretty cool,
Pretty sweet.
I think. So, yeah, we'll see. So Mike, now that did you check out any other special chip games? Now that you figured out what the problem was?
I haven't done any through the SD card. I played some Star Fox just off of a cartridge.
Yeah.
That game also slows down a bit, but I think that's again just the Super Nintendo doing what it does.
Are you using Firebrand's settings for the... Oh, there's the slowdown tech. For your video settings, or did you tweak stuff a little bit?
I'm still more or less default for the video settings. I don't know if you have any recommended changes you'd make.
Well, I'll show you. I can show you what mine are. So resolution I have set to 1080 because I have a TV that does 1080. I don't really see the reason why I would go down to 720. Some people like that look, I guess, but width and height I go 4:3 for 16:9. The horizontal and vertical positions I kept at default because they look fine on my TV, and then I go the integer scaling.
Oh, but you're at 5x, so you're off the
Yeah.
screen. Is that it?
My TV has a setting where I can kill the overscan, so usually it just fits like barely on the screen.
What's
But if
5
you're
times the height
overscan-
of the Super Nintendo?
Super NES was 240, so
1,200.
yeah.
Yeah, so like on a 16:10 monitor, for example, that would theoretically work. Although I guess the console is only outputting 1080, right?
Right.
It
Yeah,
must
so
be
I
losing
guess,
a tiny bit in that case.
yeah, but I think most games compensated for the overscan a little bit. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I'm not sure, but if
I should give it a try. I'm on 4.5x, so there's a little tiny, like in theory, there's a little tiny bit of shimmering, but it's very rare that I notice it at all.
I mean, I'm looking at what is shown at the top when it's in a lower. Yeah, I guess I'm losing a little bit. You can see that those pipes a little bit when I move it from 4.5 to 5. The top of those pipes gets cut off a little bit. So I guess I'm losing I'm losing
I'll
a little bit
experiment
on
with that a
top
bit.
and bottom, but I like having it fill the full screen. I think that
Yeah.
looks. you know,
Well, 4.5 gets you very close.
right. But then you have to turn. Do you turn interpolation on for because that's what I was gonna say. I turn interpolation on for the horizontal, but not for vertical.
I guess I don't know that turning interpolation on makes it less like noticeable when it's.
Yeah. So so every however many pixels, kind of they blur it into the next one. Is how it works. So that's under scalars. So I disable vertical and leave horizontal on. So otherwise there would be shimmer, but it blurs it's a certain number of lines. It sort of blurs them on purpose so that they don't shimmer, is basically what it does. But it's the correct aspect ratio to playing on the CRT, which is I prefer generally, although when I don't have the option for interpolation, like on my NES, that mod doesn't have an interpolation option, so I do integer scaling, so it's stretched out a little bit more than, it's like instead of 4:3, I think it's 5:4 or something, so it's not quite exactly the correct aspect ratio, but it doesn't shimmer. And it's close enough that it doesn't bother me. So, because the shimmer would bother me more. But this has options for disabling interpolation on one or the other. Like if you turn them both on, I think it ends up looking kind of blurry. It won't read as much on the stream if I do it. But if you were sitting here, and I enabled it on both, it looks a little fuzzy, and so I don't like to do that. You don't turn any of the stupid scalars or filters on, I don't imagine.
No. No, I mean, I'm running it with almost exactly the stock settings that it comes with right now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which, again, it looks quite good. So maybe I could find a slightly different setup that would make me happier. But, so far, pretty good.
Yeah. And I mean, you can mess with the RGB range and everything if you want to. I haven't done any of that stuff. All I did was.
I don't know what I would want to do exactly. I might enjoy being. I don't know. Can I change like the saturation or the like contrast? Because the problem is for me to play in game mode on my TV, it turns off every single bit of image processing on my TV, and it makes the image look really washed out. So I wouldn't mind if I could dim it a little bit in the Super NT. But I also have another solution coming up. I'm going to get a new TV. So.
Do you have the zero? I assume you have the zero delay buffering on, or did you not mess with that at all either? I think it defaults to zero delay.
A setting.
It's under buffer mode. Yeah, it's fully buffered, zero delay, single buffer. Single buffer theoretically is the one that is more accurate, but the screen tearing drove me absolutely bonkers, and I had it on for like 5 minutes, and I was like, the screen tearing is way too much. Fully buffered I did for a little bit, but the delay started depending on the game, the actual lag was a little bit noticeable, and so zero delay, the percentage off from original speed is not perceptible to me, but the delay on fully buffered was like the lag on the controller lag was, so I said
I should maybe
delay.
Consider that because I might not notice the difference. I don't know, hard to say.
Yeah, actually that was something that I did want to you were asking about this controller, and I don't know if you
actually. Well, I have one now, so
okay. Let's say we can do the. I can run the 240p test suite.
Is that a cartridge?
Check
It's
it
like
out.
is that a ROM?
It's a ROM, yeah. It's not a cartridge. It's a ROM. Artemio.
240p.
No, my TV will automatically scale 240p. But one of the things that you can do, it's nice because it'll give you like the grid scroll test you can do. So this is to check for shimmer, right? So you can see interpolation is working because there's no shimmer on this grid test. There's an actual is this the one? No, this is to check if you have like a OLED. You can sort of check how the lighting works by moving this dot around There's a scroll test. Oh, there it is, scroll test. So this just takes this background from Sonic. This is another way to check for layering, the parallax and pixel shimmer. And again, you can see it's weird to see a Sonic background on a Super Nintendo like this, but you can see there's no pixel shimmer.
I might switch to 5x because I just did the math. If the video output of the Super Nintendo really is 224 vertically, then you're losing almost nothing by going to 5x. If that gets me a nice screen filling image and removes any shimmering, then that's kind of cool.
So this is the manual lag test. So a frame is around 16.68 milliseconds. This is telling me that the lag is 15.01 milliseconds, and who knows how much of that is human error with me not lining that image up exactly perfectly. So that's on the Bluetooth controller that I did that.
I'm pretty sure that my TV gives me like 30 milliseconds in game mode.
It might. The Frame Meister will process the picture faster than whatever your TV is doing. That's why I can get these results, I think. That's one of the advantages, right, to the external scaler. Although I'm not using the Frame Meister. What am I talking about? This is outputting HDMI. That's not good, Mike, if your TV is giving you that much lag. Even in game mode it does that?
Yeah, it's an old TV.
Wow, okay.
It's for an HD TV. I was the first person I knew who had one. So it's like 11 years old at this point.
Yeah.
We got the same one. That sounds about right.
The Samsung
2008.
A650.
Laundry.
Yours is 10 inches bigger than mine, but it's the same.
Yeah, it was always like an issue when playing Rock Band games and things like that. But eventually the calibration got easy enough.
I was going to say you could calibrate on Rock Band. Laundry Lunatic in the chat says, "What controller are you using? Are you using an emulator?" I'm not using an emulator. I'm using the Super NT, and this is the 8-bit do gamepad.
Pretty much an emulator.
It's a hardware emulator, not a software.
It's an emulator.
It's using an FPGA. So it is emulating the system on a hardware level,
basically.
Right.
Not a software.
It is still a kind of emulation.
Right. I feel like when people ask that question, they're asking like, are you using BSNES? Are you using ZSNES? Are you using SNES 9X?
Heigen only.
Heigen only. Well, that's BSNES. Yeah. Heigen,
that controller
BSNES.
is nice, by the way. I've been using it for a day or two, and I do find it's pretty nice. I can't quite tell it. I don't know if it's zero lag. It's a little hard to say because I have all these Super Nintendo controllers that are original hardware, but they're all old and to different extents. Some of the buttons work well or not well, especially the start and select buttons I find are super flaky and really hard to activate. So like when it's working well, a Super Nintendo controller, I know that's the best responsiveness you can have, and I feel like maybe there's a little step down using this controller, the 8-bit Do one, but all the buttons work well. So it's kind of like on balance, I'm not sure.
I think. See, I can actually test the overscan here. So, it looks like I'm losing 4 lines at the top, 4 lines at the bottom, and nothing on the left and right. So I'm losing 4 pixels worth of stuff based on what the 240p test suite is telling me on the top and bottom, with it set to 5x. But I have it set. Make sure your TV has a mode to turn off the overscan, because I do have to do that. If I had that off on my TV, I'd probably be losing double that at least.
Well, the problem is that I might not have any control when I'm in game mode. And
that's one thing that I can change in game mode. But I have a Samsung, and it's a fairly. We got this. This is the TV we bought while we lived in DC. That was in our bedroom. So this is a newer TV, quite considerably than the one that you have. So
yeah. I'm gonna get a fancy one. I'm gonna get one of those OLEDs this year.
Yeah, I've been some of those OLEDs. I've been like, man, those are pretty cool.
They're getting down to the point where you can get models that are a year or two old for like $1,200, and it's like
that still feels like a lot though, because like
that's what I spent on my TV, which was 40 inches. I mean, this is like I'm talking like 55, 60-inch panels for.
Yeah, but we just got like I think we have the one we have downstairs now is 48 or 50 inches, and it's not an OLED, and it was like $400 or $500, and like I don't know how much. I don't know. I don't know how much more the OLED would impress me to pay $700 more for it. You know what I mean?
They look pretty fucking nice.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I buy a TV once every 12 years.
We
so
just got the one that we had in our living room just shit the bed, and we replaced it with just an LED one that was like
a little nicer than a basic LCD.
Yeah, it was like it's a Samsung, like I forget if it's 50 or 55 or whatever, but it's pretty nice. It was like $600. It was on sale. It's like a $1,200 TV or whatever, but it was on sale for like $600, and it looks pretty damn nice. It's not as nice as an OLED one. The contrast isn't quite as good, but it's like 4K and high contrast, or not high contrast. What's the other? The high contrast mode.
HDR.
HDR. Yeah. Somebody give me a DSP-1 or DSP-2 or DSP-3 or DSP-4 game that I should check out and see how it runs.
I don't even know what those games are.
Off the top of my head, Super Mario Kart is one of them. But if somebody,
did Super Mario Kart not work with the old Jailbreak?
No, it did not. It doesn't work with my EverDrive. So I'll do that. But if anybody wants to pull up the list of special chip games, and actually there's a folder here on the thing. I forgot about that
Special
already.
chips.
Special chips. DSP 1 through 4. What do we got here? All right, we got Balls 3D. I'm going to pass on that one.
Yeah, good.
Does Uniracers use some kind of special chip?
Uniracers does. I don't know if it's one of those though. Let's take a look. Not one of these. It definitely does though.
Super Mario Kart.
All right, I'll play Super Mario
Sure.
Kart.
I haven't tried that. I haven't tried that on the Super NT, but that was a game that looked like garbage when it was playing on the SNES Classic on an HD3.
Really? This is one of the games I've wanted to check out on. It's BSNES, right? Or Hygen BSNES, the same thing. That you can do I wanted to try out the high res mode 7 thing that you can do. You guys remember what I'm talking about? Did you hear about that?
Oh yeah, I saw videos of that. It was creepy. It was wrong.
I don't know. Some games I thought it looked really good. Like I think it was Pilot Wings that I saw running on it, and I was like, that feels like it shouldn't look good, but it does.
Wrong, Joe.
I mean, maybe, but yeah, I don't know. I think this looks fine. I mean, it looks like a Mode 7 game.
Yeah, but it's way easier to decipher than what you see on the SNES Classic. I want to say.
Is it really? Does F-Zero have that problem on the SNES Classic as well, or?
Probably. I don't know. I just remember noticing it a lot more with Mario Kart, but I think maybe there's less detail in the F-Zero backgrounds.
Yeah, I mean, Mario Kart was at least a couple years after F-Zero, right? F-Zero was the launch title, and Mario Kart was 93, 94? Was it that late?
I don't remember what year it was, but yeah, it's definitely more recent.
Yeah. So, there's a sequel to Shovel Knight coming out.
Well, sort of. I mean, there's the new campaign, and then there's a different game, which is not exactly a sequel. It's made by Nitrome, the folks who brought you Bomb Chicken.
Right.
I played on the Switch.
I mean, if it's not a sequel, what is it? Looks like a sequel to me. I mean,
it's like kind of like a side game, right? It's kind of like Mr. Driller style, dig your way down through a cavern.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's very digging centric. It actually kind of reminded me of Super Mario Brothers 2 in some ways.
The parts that everyone loves to play the most.
Yeah, everyone's favorite parts of Super Mario 2.
Whole game, nothing but that, Eric.
Nothing but digging. That's the when you talked on the NES draft about how much you'd like someone to make another Mario 2, a finger on the monkey's paw closed. And now you get one that's just the digging parts of Super Mario Brothers 2. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Man.
I should play Shovel Knight at some point.
You should.
You never played any Shovel Knight?
Yeah, I played a few hours of it. It's alright.
Shovel Knight's alright, but Spectre of Torment is great.
Yeah.
I rebought it on the Switch because they put it on sale right before they cut off. Like it was like if you still buy it now, you'll get all this stuff, but then
Right.
we're gonna cut you off if you have to pay for all the DLC or whatever separately or something like that. And so there was a sale, and I was like, fuck it, I'll get it on the Switch.
I didn't
too.
do that because I already had it on the Vita.
You
Hell
see
yes.
the scuttlebutt that Tracer is going to be the next
Smash character or
Smash
something.
character?
Yeah, that is
Is
bizarre.
what's the
Also, it
source
should
of that?
fucking be
though?
Reinhardt. Come on. I love Tracer, but
Yeah, she's never been my favorite, but she's the one that they like to promote.
yeah.
She's my favorite. My favorite thing about Super Mario Kart, the original Super Nintendo version, is that the enemy characters just get random power-ups that they can just use whenever they want, like magic.
Including stuff that you never have access to.
Right, Bowser can shoot fireballs, but also Mario can just be invincible, like, whenever he decides that that's a thing he wants to do.
Good for Mario.
Super bogus.
Maybe he can do that in Super Mario Brothers and just doesn't.
Yeah, so
Well, to give him a fighting
Overwatch
chance.
is confirmed to be coming to Switch, right? But Tracer,
I have
the
no
Tracer and
idea.
Smash thing is not confirmed, or are
don't think
both
they're
rampant
either.
speculation?
Confirmed, right? I don't know. I actually have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea. I just know that I saw stuff about that, and I was like, oh, is this... Do we know this for sure, or is this just... We guess, or we think, or we hope, we're wish casting? It's Overwatch. I mean, Overwatch and Switch makes sense. I mean, Overwatch
Seems like a
ran on
game
my
that
old
probably
computer.
should run on Switch. right?
Yeah, it ran on my old PC, which was not...
They could
I mean, it was
definitely
a
make
7-year-old laptop, and it ran on
Also,
that.
Switch has no inherent voice chat anything, so
So it'll be
that
better.
would improve it.
yeah, that makes it better. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it looks like the DSP1 integration is better than maybe the CX4 integration.
Well, again, the chip for Mega Man X seems to work very well for Mega Man X3, but not for 2. Because I haven't hit any slowdown in Mega Man X3. It doesn't do nearly as much goofy 3D wireframe stuff, but whenever you get a new weapon, it shows you the new weapon and it spins around. And it looks quite zippy and fast. It's just a shame because you get kind of the less good of the two games. It runs better.
Yeah, right. At least it's the better version of that less good game.
Yeah, I mean, it's still all right from what I can tell, but
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff coming out soon. This year has been ridiculous. I'm getting frustrated with how many games are coming out this year. To be perfectly
There really
honest.
hasn't been a whole lot that I've played this year.
honestly, I haven't really played anything that I've been super into this year.
I liked Apex a lot. That was really good.
Was that this year? I thought it was late last year.
Apex? No, it was like March or
Outer Wilds.
and Outer Wild. Yeah, Outer Wilds is.
Yeah, like I haven't even gotten to that
one
yet.
too, actually.
Is it weird that I was almost relieved when it turned out the people who made that Ion Fury game turned out to suck, because now I don't have to make time to play that game? Because there's just too much stuff. Like Control Control comes out this week, and what was the other thing that I was talking about in the email thread that also comes out? Astral Chain comes out this week, and
I don't know what that is.
that's the new Platinum,
The Platinum game.
Oh, that's the one on Switch.
Yes. Yep.
I do know what that is.
You're a demon cop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Does that mean you police demons, or you are a demon who polices regular people, or you are a demon who polices other demons?
You police demons, and you're a cop who uses demons to police, I guess, everybody else. I don't know.
Okay. Sounds good. And Ninja Warriors once again comes out tomorrow, I believe. Which
Once
I
again.
have been very... Yes. One of my favorite naming conventions, by the way. In Japan, the original Ninja Warriors is just Ninja Warriors as it is here. But the sequel, which we got here also as just Ninja Warriors on the Super Nintendo, in Japan was called Ninja Warriors Again. So now the next sequel is coming out for all the modern systems. similar. It's very similar to Wild Guns Reloaded.
Is it a sequel or is it just a like an expanded?
I
version?
think it's a. I get the sense that it is an enhanced remake on the level of Wild Guns Reloaded. Like it makes everything work in widescreen. It adds 2 new characters in this case, and all that good stuff. But it doesn't. I don't think it adds like fully new levels or anything like that. Is my understanding, but I'm not certain. But either way, I'm in because that is a game that costs a fortune now. I don't have a copy of it, but I like it. It's a brawler that does not. It's not a belt scroller. It is a flat brawler, sort of like Irem's Kung Fu, but everything you still use combos and stuff like you do in more typical belt scrollers, which is interesting. And the cast of characters is it's something, man. Like one of the tank in that game, in the first Super Nintendo version, Ninja Warriors again. The tank character can't jump at all. That's how tanky he is.
Okay.
But now, in the new one, they're adding a character who is a literal tank. So, I don't know, man.
Nice crossover. Mm-hmm. I was gonna say
Kind of like Pat LeBur more, I think. But, yeah, they're all robots. Robots. All these ninjas. Yeah, they're robots.
Why didn't you say there was robots?
But yeah, so the new one is Ninja Warriors Once Again. And I don't remember what the American title is, but it's not that. Which it should be that, because Ninja Warriors Again, and Ninja Warriors Once Again is the best naming convention possible. But
I mean, Ninja Warriors like Forever would also be good.
I was hoping for Ninja Warriors Yet Again, but you know. Anyways, that comes out. I'm pretty sure that comes out tomorrow. And then. Yeah, I was theoretically into Ion Fury, but then it turns out the devs were really shitty about some stuff that they needn't have been shitty about, and I'm just like, you know what? There's too many games to play. I don't need to make time for this.
Hey man, don't try and censor them, man.
Yeah, like I could almost overlook the bad joke that's in the game. If
Yeah,
they
yeah.
weren't willing to die on that hill of like, oh no, man, you're censoring me.
Right,
by not liking my stupid joke that I would have thought was kind of funny when I was 11.
Right, the stupid gay joke that's funny to 12-year-olds. You know, that's the hill they're gonna die on. I agree with you, Mike. Because initially 3D Realms apologized, right? The publisher said like, we're not into that. We're sorry. We're gonna take it out. And then the devs themselves were like, no, man, we're not. We're gonna tread into a really ill-advised set of free speech tropes that drive me absolutely insane. Yeah, I was just like, you know what? That's fine. The game looks interesting, but there's so many games that I want to play this year. I have some big episodes. I have 2 pretty big episodes, the same name, different game, that I'm doing in the next couple months. It's fine. I don't need to make time to play a game that's made by people who think that that's like a reasonable fucking hill to die on, like you said. So, whatever. But I feel like there's still other stuff that then we were talking about this last week, but like Telling Lies came out last week. I haven't bought that yet, but I want to play that because I loved her story. And Erica looks interesting. And the Man of Medan or whatever, the one from the Until Dawn people, that also looks interesting and good. All this stuff, and it's like, I don't know. We'll see. Like, and I guess the reviews on Control are like really good. Like Remedy hasn't. What was the last thing Remedy put out?
That game with the TV show.
Oh, Quantum Break. Yeah. It was an Xbox One exclusive. That's why I didn't remember it. Kurt, did you play that? You have an Xbox One.
It's on PC and shit.
Did you play it,
I
Eric?
own it, but I've never played it. No.
That's interesting because speaking of Remedy, I own a copy of Alan Wake and I've never played it. Still,
that's an alright game.
Yeah. I got it on a GameFly. GameFly had one of their big, like, we're clearing out our back inventory sales that they do, like, periodically. This was years ago already. I think I still lived in Wisconsin, I'm pretty sure, when this happened, but I got it for like $6, and I still haven't played it. But I should, because I like horror games, and everybody, I mean, for a while, it was the game I think we brought up in the most separate discussions when we were doing a podcast. And everybody seemed to like it, but I still haven't played it. I should do that. Maybe October would be a good time for me to do that while we attempt to do a stream every day in October again this year. It seems like that could
That's
be
a lot of days.
It's a lot of 31, in fact. So yeah, I don't know. What are you guys playing? Mike, are you playing? Have you played more Dicey Dungeons? How's that?
I'm playing Dicey Dungeons right now. It's good. I like it. I don't know if I'm going to love it in the long term. Like, any one of these games is kind of a commitment. You spend a lot of time with it. And,
that one didn't necessarily seem like it was, though. Like, you beat it, quote unquote, while we were streaming last week.
The first victories are much easier, and then it gets harder as it goes on. Every character has like 4 or 5 different variant runs that you can do once you've got the first one completed.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll finish the game one time with each of the 5 characters, and now I'm kind of starting to dip my toes into the kind of alternate game modes that you can get into.
Yeah.
Which are, they're very neat.
So how are the other character?
The other characters are completely different, and I do like that a lot about this game. Like, it's the difference between the ones you start with and stuff like the robot or the witch later on, just like it's almost like a different game. So
yeah,
I do find that really cool. That bodes well. I don't know. We'll see. Just gotta see if it has legs or not.
Mike, I just realized something. Remind me to talk to you about something once we're not on the air anymore.
Okay. Is it your credit card number?
Yes, it's my credit card. No, actually, it's my social security number.
He needs to know. He wants to tell you his social security number so you can use it to buy drugs.
Yes,
right,
in
right,
Canada, and then send them to me because drugs are cheaper in Canada. So that's
certainly insulin is.
Yeah, it'd be hard for it to be more expensive. Is there anything else? So I did the mushroom cup. I made it through. I didn't
I'm very proud of you, Joe.
Yeah, that was not a great run for me. But I also, this is like, I think Mario Kart and Mario Kart Advance are my 2 least favorite Mario Karts. Mario Kart Wii's pretty bad, but weirdly, I think the original Mario Kart is in my like bottom tier of Mario Kart games. So
I think it actually holds up okay. Like, it's not a great game, but it's still kind of playable, kind of fun, despite being like a technological train wreck at this point.
yeah, I guess. What are the other CX4 games? It's just Mega Man X2 and Mega Man X3. That's it.
Those are the only 2 that there are?
Yeah, those are the only 2 that there are. What was the other? What's the other? I have to look in the BIOS. ST10, ST0011. F1 Rock 2 Race of Champions. Sure, why not? Let's see if it works.
I do like the F1 Rock. Yeah, seems a little glitchy over here.
It looks fine from here. That might be the stream being weird. It shouldn't be.
Whenever you change screens, it seems to be kind of glitching out, no?
I'm not getting that. Might be the stream being weird. Snarkcast says, "Hey everyone, not sure if anyone mentioned this, but the SNES stream is glitchy. Joe is fine." Okay. I wonder.
I didn't see any problems with it earlier, but
That's being weird. Give me a second. We'll just reconnect the old capture card and see if that makes a difference. Or if it doesn't, we'll just end the stream here because we've been going for over an hour now, so. No, it's being weird about reconnecting. Come on. There we go.
This boss is wrecking all my equipment. Can't do any damage.
Who's wrecking all your equipment?
This boss. I made it to the end of another run here, but I mean, I'm almost certainly gonna win, but
That looks better.
Yeah. This is just, this seems like it is just another,
day for you and me in paradise.
yes. I was going to say another Mode 7 racing game, but probably shouldn't have pitted in since this is only 2 laps, but oh well. I
This is
like
a very
the,
silly looking game. I mean, it's F-Zero, but you're supposed to be driving a normal car.
yeah, pretty much.
This is.
I
Like
mean, it feels
exactly
fast,
like-
though. It feels very fast.
Right? Doesn't it feel just like F-Zero?
No, it feels worse than F-Zero.
Okay. Everything about the way like you're bouncing off the walls and things makes it look like they were 100% just reskinning F-Zero.
Yeah.
Hey, I won my run of Daisy Dungeons.
But it works. I mean, and it's I mean, if it's slowing down, this game must run at a breakneck pace. Because this game is running at quite a clip. Good. I'm bouncing off the walls, but it is not. So Eric, what have you been playing lately, man?
Nothing.
Eric has transcended video games.
Just an Overwatch. That's pretty much
Playing ranked or just
it. There is no real ranked at the moment. It's like a
Oh, it's
queue
between-
for it's beta mode for the role queue thing. I'm still not really sure how you feel about it.
have you messed around anymore with the new hero in the public test server?
He's in the game now.
Or is he? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's alright. He feels more like a damage dealer than a tank, I feel like. But
What's his thing again? His
he has orbs.
Oh right, he's the orb guy. Yeah,
Yeah, but his orbs do like they have pretty limited range where you can bounce them off the walls and stuff.
yeah.
He has 2. It looks like he's fondling his testes all the time.
Nice.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, that certainly, was a game.
I'm so happy that this game has been preserved.
Yeah. Right. Hey, this might be someone's favorite game, Mike. You don't know.
I guess I don't.
You said something
Go
about
play Top Gear 2 instead.
Well, you said something about Uniracers, and I know that I tried to run Uniracers on my flash cart in the past, and it didn't quite work right. So, let me see if it works right here, because Uniracers is pretty dope.
Tell that to Pixar.
Yeah, right. And I'm gonna play as Mike.
Ha, you wish. Trying to beat 10 minutes. You got it in you?
We'll find out.
Is it literally just a straight line, this track?
I believe this track is just a straight line, yes. Yes, this track is just a straight line. That's why it's called Dragster, Mike.
I see that. You beat the time.
I did. Let's see how I do in the Zoom Zoo.
It certainly doesn't seem to be having any issues.
No, it seems good. Although maybe the issues were when I tried to play it with 2 players.
But that's the kind of thing where there may actually be issues on the cart, no?
Yeah. I don't know. That might be...
Play a lot of Unirasers.
Yeah, that game runs good on the
That's
start.
fine.
It might have been some weird thing, though. It might be the like Sonic 2, the 2-player mode doesn't always work on modern setups because it used a specific interlaced mode.
Oh.
And I'm wondering if
Like those
Uniracer's
3D
2-player
TVs
does the same. Yeah, kinda. Basically, that's what it's doing. It's taking advantage of the way that an old TV reads the picture, essentially. And I don't know if Uniracer's 2-player mode maybe does the same thing.
Everything about the Sonic 2-player mode is kind of weird.
It really is.
But
Up to and
also
including the
impressive.
fact that the single-player mode is also a 2-player mode because player 2 can just control Tails.
Right. You got your like assist mode on. You give your 4-year-old little brother something to do.
Yeah.
Well, now that you've proven that Uniracers is fine, you should call it is, so you can tell me secret things off the air.
Yes, absolutely. And thanks everybody for watching. Snarkcast spent some of his points or whatever to play some weird animation that I missed because I was playing a video game, but you know. Thanks everybody who hung out and watched, and we'll be back. Actually, if this week has been any indication so far, Mike will be back like tomorrow. So...
Yeah, no, I won't because I'm going back to work tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
Sorry. Well, actually, I might. We'll see. We've got some surprises in store.
Yeah, so stay tuned and make sure if you're watching this live, you should go subscribe to youtube.com/onthesticktv so that you can see these stream archives when they go up if you miss them live, and all our other stream archives when they go up there as well. So, but yeah, we'll call it a night. So have a swell evening, everybody, and thanks for watching.